السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيد الأنبياء والمرسلين ثم الصلاة على سيدة النساء العالمين ثم الصلاة على علي أمير المؤمنين وعلى أئمة المعصومين واللعنة الدائمة على أعدائهم أجمعين. أما بعد عباد الله أوصيكم ونفسي بتقوى الله فإن خير الزاد التقوى. My dear brothers and elders and everyone else, I invite you and myself toward the taqwa, toward the piety, toward the righteousness, towards fearing the Almighty God, that is to say, towards fearing the sins of Almighty God that you can commit. Obviously, the best way, the best procedure, the best method that can help you succeed in this world and in the hereafter is being vigilant about your affairs, being attentive to how you are managing your life for this world and the hereafter constantly. And you have to practice that. You need patience for that. You need to develop stamina for that in order to be attentive and vigilant. Last week, we were talking about how Deen, ethics, can enhance some personality traits. How can they help you develop your personality? And how can they help you in this world? Well, there are other benefits. There are spiritual benefits, as we were talking about. There are general benefits. But we are looking at some Islamic concepts, how they can enhance your personality. And the second thing is there are some precautionary measures as well, because with each personality trait there comes a disadvantage, there comes a problem, and you have to be attentive to that. And when we come across some Islamic rulings, there have been a mention of that where you need to be attentive. So the first personality trait that we were looking last week, it was openness. So the open people are curious, they are imaginative, they are open to new experiences, they are interested in learning and continuously acquiring new skills and abilities. And that's a very good thing, obviously. And even in the Holy Quran, we come across many verses like إِنَّمَا يَتَذَكَّرُ أُولِي الْأَلْبَابِ, that only those who have got the intellect, who have got the deep intellect, they would remember Allah. And we have many tradition ahadith like that. تَفَكَّرُ السَّاعَةِ خَيْرٌ مِّنْ إِبَادَةِ السَّنَةِ. And sometimes it says فِقْرُ السَّاعَةِ خَيْرٌ مِّنْ إِبَادَةِ سِتِّينَ سَنَةً. That even thinking for one while is better than worship of 1 year, better than worship of 70 years. So this is how profound it is, that when you have an open mind and you have got the intellect and you are thinking about the new ideas, you are generating new ideas, you are trying to find meanings into what you are practicing, that is much better than doing worship without any thinking. And you don't know what's the role of all these things that I'm doing in every day. If you're doing ibadah in such a condition that you even don't know the meaning and you even don't know how is it helping you, then rather switch to thinking, okay, why are you doing it? That's much better. So fikru sa'ati khayrun min ibadati sana, that even thinking for one while, one moment is better than worshipping Almighty God for 70 years without thinking why I am doing it. So Islam highly encourages us to think, build a thinking process, have a conscious thinking. And that's especially about the abstract ideas, abstract thinking. That's what makes you, what develops the leadership qualities in you. And the most profound abstract idea that we have is the conception of God. We don't have a more profound idea than that, because it's totally untouchable in this world, in the hereafter. You will never be able to experience it with the smell or with your five senses. All you can know about the God is through your abstract thinking, through the intellect. And obviously, if you are interested in the belief systems and in the meaning behind those ideologies, this will generally enhance the trait of openness. And we are educating our young kids at a very young age that engage with these ideas, engage with these philosophies, engage with the belief system, try to find a meaning when we are looking at the usul ad-Deen. But unfortunately, it has been the case that you see a lot of religious people who only stick to tradition, who only stick to the ibadah and worship. They become very stiff. They are not open to new ideas. They cannot find meaning in the old things. They cannot look into the old things in the new way. That has been a serious problem with, I think many religious people. They think they are religious, but they are not actually giving it a conscious thinking. Okay, why I'm doing it, and it's a very strange. But we also know that the people who were highly intelligent, likes of Muhammad Hussain Tabatabai, Shahid Mutahari, Imam Khomeini, and Nasiruddin Tusi, all these scholars who actually helped the Muslim Ummah, who actually helped the Shia community, Shia Islam, to look at all things in the new way. They try to make sense out of things. These were the people who make the religion relevant in the modern day. Well, there is a need for those who stick to the tradition. There is a need for those who are not thinking a lot about each and everything, because if you keep on thinking about each and everything at every moment, you become impulsive. You won't be able to do anything that brings a meaning. For example, if you are so much into openness and you are always thinking about ideas, you won't be able to do anything. You will be engulfed in your ideas, and this is what what I have to discuss today. So yes, there is an importance of having ideas and openness, especially when it comes to the belief systems. And if we look at the Islam and when we go to an Islamic institute, the first thing that we learn, what is that? Is that we are learning the Arabic grammar, syntax, and that Arabic grammar is based on the rules which were stipulated, which were developed by those Arabs who lived in the era of ignorance. So when we are trying to understand Quran, ahadith, we have two things. We have text and then we have isnad, especially in the case of ahadith. We are looking at the chain of narrations. Once we are sure, okay, this is Quran, that 100% true, and this is the hadith, and that has been rightly attributed to a Masoom. Once we are sure about that, then we are trying to look at the meaning. How do we find the meaning? We find the meaning by looking into the Arabic grammar. And it's a usul, this is a principle, and this is accepted by all Muslims, that when you are trying to find a meaning of a new word from an Arabic language, the meaning that was defined by those Arabs who lived in the era of ignorance, that is a standard. That is the standard. So literature, having an interest in the literature is very important, especially because almost all the religions were conveyed to human beings through the literature. If you do not have an understanding of the literature, of the aesthetic beauty, you won't be able to develop a deep understanding of why I'm doing each and everything. So that openness trait is really important, and especially if the thing that for example, we commemorate Shuhada Karbala. That is one aspect of aesthetic beauty. You are appreciating something which is only in your mind. You haven't seen the Karbala, but you listen about it and think about it, and you are able to relate yourself with it. That's one high aspect of aesthetic beauty which is developing in the whole Shia community. We have a college of arts in Pakistan, where most of the people who are getting admission were the Shias, and this was a complaint. Why this is so, that only people from one community are going there? And the response of one of the principal and head of the institution was that, look, this is a community who haven't seen Karbala, but when you narrate the incident of Karbala before them, from a young child to a man as old as 60 or 70, they go so deep into the thinking that they can imagine that it's happening right now, and they can relate it with it. If people have such deep love for those aesthetics, obviously they would be better in literature and the literary arts. So these concepts are very important. The concept of usul-e-deen, when we are looking at that, basically they are developing this trait of personality, that is openness, engaging with the ideas, engaging with the abstract thinking. But there is a serious problem. There is a serious problem with those who are highly open. And what is that? Because in life, if you want to move forward, you will have to find one way. You will have to integrate identity. You will have to go for one identity. If you are not looking for one identity, the first problem is people will never be able to recognize you, who you are. In the morning you are into religion, in the evening you are into literature, in the noon you are into aesthetics, and you are thinking about taking each and everything. You have interest in each and everything. You have interest in the religion, you have an interest in the philosophy, you have interest in the literature, you have interest in the aesthetics, each and everything. You don't have a single integrated identity. You are not doing one thing to become perfect. So if that is your pursuit of life, so obviously openness is good when it becomes to generating new ideas, when it becomes to making sense out of things. But if you are only an open person, it brings you a problem. And the problem is you will never find a way to find one identity and be successful in this world. At this point, you need something, and that is you need conscientiousness. That is to say, you have to be organized. You have to organize. You can do multiple things, but you have to find one way. Okay, I want to do this thing. This is the most suitable thing. If you are not selecting one option, if you are not choosing one option, if you are not sticking to one option, the problem is you will fall into anxiety and depression. So that's the cost of high openness. You see those people who are only into the philosophies and sciences which involve thinking, most of the time they develop anxiety. Most of the time they develop depression. Most of the time they are not able to find one integrated identity. Most of the time they suffer, they make their families suffer, they make the community suffer, because they are not finding a way to help their economics. So you have to go for one integrated identity, and to have one integrated identity, the second personality trait that you need is conscientious. That is to say, you should be directional, you should be motivated, you should be looking for one thing, and your life should be organized, your life should have a plan. Okay, you take a task and then commit to yourself that I will finish this task, only then I will go for something else. This is the trait that you need in order, even the most intelligent people need this thing in their life. If they want to achieve one thing, they have to select one thing, they have to go for single integrated identity so that people can know them, and so that even they can make them perfect in one domain. You cannot be perfect in each and everything. And this is the personality trait that we are trying to discuss. I will continue that in the second sermon, how some Islamic rulings and the ahadith are actually motivating the Muslims and the humans to integrate themselves, to organize themselves, and how some different activities that we do on every day, that ultimately how they are helping you. At the same time, I would be pointing out about some of the disadvantages of conscientiousness and what are the precautions that have been devised by Islam. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Inna a'tainaka al-kawthar fasalli li rabbika wanhar inna shaniyaka huwal abtar.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Sayyid al-Anbiya wal Mursaleen. Summa salatu ala Aliyin Amir al-Mu'mineen. Summa salatu ala Sayyidat al-Nisa al-Alameen. Summa salatu ala al-Hasan wal Husayn wa Ali ibn al-Husayn wa Muhammad ibn Ali wa Ja'far ibn Muhammad wa Musa ibn Ja'far wa Ali ibn Musa wa Muhammad ibn Ali wa Ali ibn Muhammad والحسن بن علي والحجة بن الحسن القائم المهدي صلوات الله عليهم أجمعين. ولعنة الدائمة على أعدائهم أجمعين. أما بعد عباد الله أوصيكم ونفسي بتقوى الله. My dear brothers, elders, and youngsters, I invite you and myself towards the piety, towards the taqwa, towards the righteousness. So we were talking about how Deen, how ethics and some of the commandments of Deen can help you develop the personality trait of conscientiousness. Because if you start off with the usul Deen and you become a highly open person, the problem is that if you're only into philosophies and the ideologies and the thinking process, you will never be able to find one integrated identity. And if you do not find one integrated identity, the problem is you will never be able to achieve something meaningful in your life. You will be thinking because you're doing multiple things. And the second thing is people would never be able to recognize you, who you are. What do you want to do in life? They would never be able to identify you. So at this point, you need organization in life. You need a plan in your life. You need a schedule in life. There should be a plan when you are going for sleep, when you are waking up. What are you doing in the day, in every day? How are you dividing your whole day into different slots? How are you doing different things and engaging with one integrated identity? That's very important. So the first thing that you have to become organized, the most important thing is you have to start it with organizing your sleep hours. Organizing your sleep hours. And one benefit of these daily prayers, these rituals, that is to say daily 5 prayers, is that you are bound to maintain your sleep hours. Because if you want to wake up for the morning prayer, you have to sleep at some proper time. Otherwise, you won't be able to do it. And it is haram. It is prohibited to be awake so long that you cannot wake up for the morning prayer. So if you are, for example, sleeping at 1 at the night and the prayer time is as 30:30, and you are sure that you won't be able to wake up for it, it is haram. It is haram for you to stay awake till 1 p.m. It depends on everyone else. Otherwise, you have to stay awake until the morning prayer, say the prayer, and then go for the sleep. But the thing is, if you do like that, there would be another problem. How would you do your daily work? How would you go for the work? You won't be able to wake up in the morning. There would be another problem. So anyhow, it depends. So everyone has a different schedule. But the thing is, when you are engaging with the prayers, when you are engaging with the daily prayers, the first thing that comes into your life gets divided into different slots. Now you have 5, 6, 7 slots, and you are planning each and every slot. Because ultimately, if you are sure and if you have a commitment that I'm going to say daily prayers at their particular time, at their specific time, the thing is you will automatically organize your life. Even if your personality trait is not like that, if you're not a conscientious person biologically, you will still be organizing it by the command. It just happens just like in the army. It doesn't matter whether you are conscientious or not. But if there is a command, if there is a higher command which is obligating you, which is asking you to do it mandatorily, then obviously you have to do it. There is no other option. So dividing the day into different slots, that's the first thing that you achieve through the daily prayers. The other thing is, if you want to wake up in the morning at a proper time, there must be some ritual in your life. Okay, you want to wake up at 4 in the morning. Why do you want to wake up? You will have to decide about one thing that you keep on doing every day. If you do not have a ritual in your life, there won't be any motivation to why I'm waking up. So there's a hadith by Imam Sajjad al-Islam that those who want to be successful in this world and be successful in the hereafter, whatever you want, whether you want to be successful in this world or successful in the hereafter, wake up early in the morning, say tahajjud prayer. Say tahajjud prayer. And why is that? Because even if you look at the life of the many successful people, one thing that is very common in their life is that they wake up early in the morning. They start doing the things very early in the morning. And then another thing is, whenever you are going to make a prayer or do any good deed, you see that the first thing in each and everything before the prayer, everything is the intention. Why is that so important? The first thing that you wake up in the morning, the first thing you do, even before doing the wudu, even before making prayer, is you make an intention. I make an intention that I want to seek closeness to the ultimate perfection, to the ultimate reality. That is to say the God. That's the first intention. Now you have to spend your whole day so that you can seek closeness to the ultimate reality. That was your intention. Intention is a conviction, a commitment in the morning that I will be spending my whole day in order to seek closeness to ultimate reality, to ultimate perfection, to ultimate knowledge, to ultimate power. Each and everything you start from this point, and if you are starting from that point, and if you really know what you are saying, think how can you make your life so successful and progressive if that is your intention. You cannot intend for anything else better than that. The ultimate reality, the ultimate perfection. Okay, God, you can't see God, right? It's an abstract idea that you know, an abstract reality that you can only understand through mind. You cannot smell it, you cannot touch it, and you cannot figure it out through senses. Rather, it's your intellect that can let you know, okay, there is a God. And now you are aiming at God. You are actually aiming at infinity. How profound is that idea? You start off with the intention. If you do not make an intention, everything is null and void. If you start making prayer and you do not have an intention, everything is null and void. Because you are not doing your actions to seek the ultimate reality, so everything is null and void. So that's how profound the idea of intention is. So the first thing that you do in your life when you start saying the daily prayers, these are rituals obviously, is that you organize your life. You divide your life into different slots. Obviously, there is no running from it. And the most successful people in this world who ultimately succeed and excel are these conscientious people who have a plan, who have a organization. And that's a survey, that's a scientific method of measuring different people. That these people would be scoring the highest grade at school, they would be doing the best at the work, and they are the ones who will be reaching the higher position. Because they stick to plan, they stick to one thing until and unless it's finished. They slog away with the task until it's finished. So they are highly determined people, these conscientious people, the people who are organizing their life. Okay, I have two ahadiths that I can share here. One is from Amir al-Mu'mineen, and this is relevant for the elders. Amir al-Mu'mineen says that har insan mu'min se qismat hast, that yek waqt o saati ke baraye munajat wa dua ibadat hast. Right. So every person should divide their day into 3 slots. This is more relevant for the elders, the adult who are responsible, The first thing is for the dua, for the ibadah, and for making prayer and supplication, connecting yourself with the Almighty God. یک وقت ساعتی که برای کسب معاش و درآمد است. And they divide the second slot to make earning in their daily life. Earn something in your life, to make your life better, to make the life of your family better. And the third thing is یک وقت و ساعتی که برای تفریح و استفاده از لذت‌های حلال است. And the third thing is to benefit yourself, to enjoy yourself with the halal things. Things that are allowed, things that are even intellectually allowed. So go for it. Like spending time with the family, spending time with the kids. This is how you divide your time. You have to make slots. Some people engage so much into the families that they don't look for the work. And some people engage so much into the work, they don't look for the family. Their children grow up and they cannot develop a connection with them at all. No, you have to fix something. If you cannot make like 1/3 of your day, at least take out 2 hours, 3 hours, whatever you can do. Like at least have food with them, sit together. That is one of the halal thing that you do in the life, and that's something. And the way to improve your personal life and the family life is start from this thing. Start improving the things that you are doing every day. And the thing that you every day is sleeping, eating. At least sit together, at least make sure, try to make sure that you are coming closer in those things. If you make your things that you are doing every day, if you improve them, your life will highly improve. So divide the slots. But there's another thing. This is for the elders who are obviously earning something in their daily life. There's another hadith, I think, which is more relevant for the youngsters. Prophet of Islam, Hazrat Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, divide your time into 4 slots. First thing is saati ra ba khuda-e khud raz o niyaz kunad. That if you do not have a responsibility of earning, then, and there are other hadiths as well. So you can obviously figure out which hadith fits you and your schedule. So you can divide, at least there is a necessity for dividing the time into different slots. So divide 1 slot so that you can have the ibadah, worship Almighty God. For example, coming to this Islamic center and spending time in here. Saati ra be muhasbe nafs ikhtisad dahad. And the second thing is, try to be do self-accountability. Find a time that you are doing, what are you doing at school? What are you doing at home? Are you improving yourself or not? Think about that consciously. Give it a thinking. Spend some time in this thing as well, in this pursuit as well. How are you spending your life? Because you have to ultimately manage your life. And the third thing is sa'atira bi'amuqsan ilm wa nashistan dar mahzare aliman dini bara istifade az naziyathay dilsuzan anan ikhtisas dahad. And the third thing is sit with those people. The third thing is seek knowledge. Spend time in seeking knowledge and sit with those people who have knowledge. Because you are at such a stage where you need the knowledge. You need the opinion, you need the advice of experienced people. And the fourth thing is sa'atira be istifade az lazzat-hay wa kamrani-hay mashru wa mamdu beguzara. And the fourth thing is spend your time in the things which are allowed and which are necessary for your day-to-day life, like eating and everything and the playing games, each and everything. So divide your slots. Divide your day into different slots. That's the way how you organize your life. And the thing is, the more conscientious you are, the more organized you are, the more integrated you are, the thing is you won't suffer from anxiety and depression. And there are surveys that the most happy people in this world, are those who have an organization in life and who are constantly stick to something. Because then they have a feeling from inside, okay, we have a meaning in life. If they have a meaning in life, because if there is the why, you can bear any suffering. You can bear anyhow. If you know the why of your life, if there's a meaning to your life, you can bear anything. And this is very important for open people. who are highly intelligent, who are into conscious thinking. Because open people who are mostly into the conscious thinking, they can suffer from anxiety and depression. It can drive you towards anxiety and depression. So you need organization in your life. And there's a command that divide your day into different slots. And there's a necessity, there's no running from it when it comes to the daily obligation, daily prayers. Because human beings at some point needs a higher command. Let me tell you something. If you drive the cars on the road and suddenly the government says that there wouldn't be any fines, there wouldn't be any penalties, you will see what happens. Now everyone is following the law, but the situation will totally change otherwise. So there is a need for the higher command. There is a need for some obligation at some point, because especially when you run short of the reason, and right at that moment you need a higher command, so that you can stick to the plan, so that you can stick to the schedule. So most of the people, another thing is, so if you're highly intelligent and if you're not conscientious, you are going to suffer. And I will be coming to that point, which is our call about neuroticism in the next Friday sermon possibly, that in order to control your anxiety and depression, you need a plan. And the thing is, you will see that most religious people, they tend not to suffer from anxiety and depression. It is basically because of this thing. They have an organization. They have a plan in their life. There are other factors as well, but this is one factor. I'm just telling you. This is just one factor which can help your life. And you look at the life of the highly religious people, even the intelligent ones. On one side, like of Muhammad Hussain Tabatabai, Mutahari, Imam Khomeini, Nasir Tusi, all of these. On one side, they were highly intelligent people. They were engaging with the new ideas. They were trying to make sense of the old things. They were interacting with the new problems. But at the same time, they were highly conscientious. They were high into ibadah. They were high into the worship. Look at the example of Amirul Mu'mineen. Take out his sermons and just try to think what kind of intellectuality, what deep thinking process he had. But at the same time, he was the one who would be worshipping the God for the whole night. And the thing is, highly intelligent people, I think that's my personal experience, I think they need ibadah more. Because they have to settle down. If they did not settle down, these thinkings can drive you to anxiety and depression. They cause a serious problem. A point comes where you cannot bear these thinking. At that time, you have to simply settle down and submit. And recognize that I'm weak. Before the higher authority, that the authority that you cannot see with your eyes, but that you appreciate with your mind. That is to say, the Almighty God. Another thing is, the highly conscientious people, they have a disgust towards the inactivity. If they are not active in their life, those people who are, for example, if you divide your day into different slots and you're not doing anything in the day, the first thing that would happen is there would be a say from your inside. You will feel disgust. You will feel self-contempt. I'm being inactive. This is not thing that I should be doing. Your conscientiousness from inside would say, do something. Because you have divided your day into different slots. Why did you divide it at the first place? If you do not want to do anything, if you don't want to be active. So they have a high disgust sensitivity. And then the cure for this self-disgust, for this self-contempt is organization. Doing something. The cure for avoiding that self-contempt, that internal shame, is to do something. If you start doing something, this shame, internal shame, would go away. So another thing is that these people who are highly conscientious, they have also a moral guilt. When they are not matching their standards, when they are not matching their ideals, when they are not sticking to a plan, their conscience seriously tortures them. It seriously tortures them. And the only way to avoid that torture is organization, is the activity in the life. But there is one more problem here. If you are highly conscientious, and this is where there's a caution from the religious side, that at one point, okay, you say, these are moral standards I'm not following, and you are torturing them. But sometimes even the people are trying to give you some morals. And then you start torturing yourself with the morals of other people. At this point, you have to settle down. Don't think what the people are saying. Stick with the religious moral code, with the religious moral value. If you have one single integrated value system, stick with that. One benefit of following the religious values and the moral is that you have a clear vision of the values. And then you don't care about the people, what are they saying. It gives you that freedom. It gives you that freedom. And if you do not have a value system, a single integrated value system, for example, the religious value system, the thing is, you will keep on comparing yourself with the morals and standards of people. And you will never be able to settle down. And you will be harming yourself all the time. Because each and every person has their own conscience. They have their own morals. You go to one gathering, they say something else. You go to another gathering, they say something else. And if you don't have your own value system for you, one integrated value system for yourself, the problem is you will keep on comparing yourself with the value system of the people, which keeps on changing from place to place, circumstances to circumstances, time to time, people to people. So you won't have a single integrated value system that can cause a serious problem in your life. So at this point, stick to, okay, what people are saying. I have done something, people are saying bad things about me. Just compare your act with the religious moral code. Was it right religiously? Was it halal or haram? If it was not haram, then don't damn care about what the people are saying. Just don't care. Leave it. So there is a benefit of conscientiousness, that you organize your life, you go for the activity, but this serious problem can arise. At this point, there are clear religious advices that no, stick to the religious code. Another thing is, when you are doing this thing, you become judgmental. And that's a serious problem with the religious people. You become judgmental. Okay, it's good to be judgmental for yourself. Be judgmental for yourself. Have the self-accountability. That's good for you. But some religious people become judgmental for others. This is where the tradition of Aimma come in. That say, if you see something bad if you listen something about a believer, try to interpret in 70 different ways to find a good meaning. You need not be judgmental for others. Be judgmental just for yourself, because that's good for you. But if you start being judgmental for the people, the problem is you will never be able to interact with the society properly. You will never be able to communicate with them, connect with them properly. Don't be judgmental for others. Be judgmental for yourself. That's beneficial for you. But if you start being judgmental for others, there's a serious problem that you're causing in the society. Close your eyes. Close your eyes to mistakes and failures of others. Their shortcomings. Close your eyes. Why are you being judgmental for them? Who gave you that authority? That's a serious question one needs to ask. So, conscientious people who have a highly organized life, they tend to be judgmental. But here the religious ruling comes in. No. Settle down. Stop here. That's the full stop. Be judgmental just for yourself. So this is the precautionary measure that the religious people need to take. I just need to finish it. And then another thing is, these conscientious people are highly organized, and they also discuss when there is no cleanliness and when there is no order, and that's generally more with the women. They tend to make everything organized, especially in the order in the house, and they have a disgust. They have a disgust for the impurity, and most of the religious people, you see that ruling that some people are so much into doubt that they would keep on washing themselves until the soap is gone, until the hot water is gone, nothing is left behind, and they will still be thinking we are not pure yet. The people who are kasiro shak. At that time, there's a clear command. No, if you are being highly conscious about the cleanliness, you have to settle down. Because on one thing it brings an order into your life, but if you become highly orderly, highly organized, and you are always looking for the order, the problem is, especially in the home, because if one person is not highly conscientious, is not organized, you will not be able to spend a life properly. At some time you have to settle down. Allow some space for the others. Especially because this is relevant, because the women are more organized than the men at the home, and they keep things in the order. So high order can create a problem that you cannot act out. And if you cannot act out, you cannot do anything. So these are some precautions. At the same time, as I told you last time, that religion, if you are sticking with the religion, and if you know where I should be acting out, then it's highly beneficial for you. And if you do not know how should I be acting out, and if you do not understand the reasons behind it, you can harm yourself with the religion. As I told the people who have a highest position in the Jannah, they would be scholars, they would be ulama, they would be highly religious people. And the people who have the lowest status, position in the hell, they would also be the scholars. It's a very strange thing. So you can go one way or the other. That's how it works. Another thing is the next week that we will be talking about, which is highly relevant for the religious people, that is the agreeableness. Agreeableness, that which is good for the society, but in their day-to-day business and dealings, if they try to be agreeable, they will harm themselves because they are self-sacrificing. So we'll be talking about in the next Friday sermon, inshallah. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد.